You're trying to get going in the morning, it's a rush day, and your child is having a major meltdown because everything they're trying on for the clothes, the pants, the socks, is driving them crazy. They cannot wear anything, and you have to leave in 5 minutes. Talking from personal experience, what do you do in these situations? How do you figure out these sensory clothes challenges? Well, I have a couple tips for you to help you begin getting success in this area.
Hey friend, do the daily demands of family life leave little time for self-care? Are you losing yourself in the process of caring for others? Are you ready to make self-care and healthy boundaries a natural part of your day while embracing your roles as a wife and mom? Well, I'm so glad you're here. I'm Christina, married 17 years to a neurodiverse man, mom of 3 neurodiverse kids, and many more roles. Welcome to the Moms and Neurodiverse Families podcast. Get ready to begin your self-care journey. Grab your planner and listen in as we take another small step towards a peaceful, healthier you.
Welcome back, friends. And if you are brand new to the podcast, I am super excited you're here. Check out the show notes because I have a 5-minute self-care reset for my email list. You can sign up and you can have some great ideas on how you can quickly recharge and reset your day when you've had one of those mornings, quote unquote. And we're going to be talking about that, and specifically morning routine and clothing. There was one year where I was at my wit's end, literally, of how to help my child get dressed in the morning. It was getting to the colder part of the year, and what they wanted to wear was shorts and sandals because that was the least amount of materials touching their skin. And I was in tears because I just didn't know what to do because it's coming to the point that it was December and it was going to get really cold for our area. And what do? Now, cold for you can be 40 degrees, maybe it's -10. Either way, it gets to a point where we have to be wearing more than shorts. And if you live in a place where it's always super warm and sunny, I am so excited for you. That is awesome. That is so nice. Anyway, I didn't know what to do. I kept brainstorming, what can I do to find clothes to work with this child, because the seams of everything was bugging them. And it was a fight to get them dressed. And I don't want to fight with my child over clothing. And I tried to figure out, what do I need to do differently? So here are my tips of how I began to unravel and find success with clothing with my family. Because when we find ways to address these issues, that makes our lives easier, and it helps with our ability to have time to take care of ourselves for self-care. So first, my first number rule is that for clothes, I taught the kids these rules. Your clothes have to be clean. They need to be right clothes for the weather. They need to be right clothes for your body. They need to fit, so not super big and baggy, and not super tight or short, like as in short pants, shirts that are too short in the abdomen, and it needs a match. By teaching my kids these basic rules, it gave them lots of flexibility. They can choose their clothes as long as it fits into these categories. Also, it helps them get past some of these focus on this clothes, this item bugs me, this is buggy. And they begin thinking through, okay, what do I have that's clean? It kind of gets them out of that cycle of my clothes always bug me, they're always attacking me. Okay, next, number 2, is we need to be a student of our child. So as we're teaching them, like, hey, your clothes, there's a basic necessity for being part of the community. Like if you're wearing stinky clothes, like people don't want to be around you. If they're not thinking ahead, they're wearing clothes that's too warm for the season, which could lead to heat exhaustion. So these are important items to teach them. But now we need to let our children teach us. We need to be students of our children, as in observing them, observing what is bugging them, whether they are verbal or nonverbal, understanding, is it all the time the seams on the socks bug their feet, or is it when the day is rushed and pressured and things are in upheaval at home, and then because their brain is so overwhelmed, they're not able to handle any extra stimulus on their body? That's important to note, because that can give you the ability to begin thinking, okay, we need to move up our morning routine time by 30 minutes so we're not as rushed. If it's all the time, then begins observing what specifically is bugging them. Is it the seams on the socks itself, or is it that the shoes are too tight and pushing that seam into their toes? I have the kids worn their socks inside out before when they were very young, before I was able to buy seamless socks, and sometimes that helped. Other times we had to go with bigger shoes, and sometimes it was boots even. Their winter boots. That was loose enough around their toes. And as they began getting used to having boots around on their feet, we were able to then move down to the next level, which is buying shoes that are like a half size bigger and having them wear shoes. There's ways we can always scale this process for our kids, but we can't scale the process if we don't observe and understand what's bugging them. Is it jeans? Is it the seams along the side? Or maybe it's the waist. And there are adjustable waistbands, but some of them are really uncomfortable. But some have a soft grip that's on the inside of the waistband that makes it a little easier for kids. So what my favorite thing to do when I am trying to be a student of my child and observe is when we get hand-me-downs. These are clothes that are already washed, all the rough edges are out of them, and giving them a box of clothes and having them just try it on and explore. Yes, sometimes I do need to be there because of getting items on. Maybe they can't quite get something buttoned or an item zipped up. But if they're at the age, and most kids usually with these challenges are very independent, they will welcome the opportunity to do their own dress-up show. And sometimes when they are doing this by themselves, they begin to rationalize and say, well, this is so cute. I really like this. Or, man, I love this shirt. And they're willing to wear those clothes because of the item itself. And other times they try it on and like, nope, it's the same thing, no jeans. But at least you didn't spend money. Those hand-me-downs can be amazing, especially with jeans, since the roughness of jeans are usually worn out by that point. So I do love hand-me-downs for that reason. But as you're being a student of your child and observing, looking where is it, oftentimes there's certain areas where there's pressure. For example, it could be the hip. Something can rest on the hip, but not push on the hip. Or it can be the abdomen is being pushed in, and that makes it, and if they already have digestion issues happening, that can make it even harder for them. Or is it that the shirt has sequins and there's a little film in the back side of the shirt where the sequins are, but they can feel it scratching? It's observing what specifically is causing the issue and trying to take out the emotion of it. And when we can do that, we have to figure out what is the lowest level we can go to. So finding very plain clothes. One of them is City Threads. That is one brand that I have found success, where they have very few seams and they're made a little bit looser, and that can work for kids. Also, I have found Lucky brand with their pants or their leggings, and then with some of their underwear. That can be a great band if your kids have sensory issues. But again, you can spend all this money, and I have done that before, where I was like at my wits' end, like, I don't know what to do. My child needs to be able to wear jeans before it gets frigid cold. And once I began really listening and observing, I found out, okay, these are the issues. And so I could go to a secondhand store and I could begin looking through items and begin finding like, okay, let's try these items here. This might be a possibility. I found that leggings with long shorts work well for girls. For boys, athletic pants where the inside of it is very soft, sometimes with the mesh feeling, that can be really helpful for them. Now for other kids, they need compression shirts. They need something pushing on them because they feel all scattered, but when they're wearing a compression shirt, that really is helpful. So again, if your child is like loving their really tight clothes, my first thought would be compression. They're liking that. So do they need compression sheets when they sleep at night? And you can buy compression shirts to wear underneath other clothes so it's not as noticeable. And the last thing I would say is finding a good occupational therapist. And this is an occupational therapist specifically who works with children and who looks at the sensory challenges and looks at helping them integrate. And I have found the best occupational therapists, they are extreme students of the child. Like they seriously just sit there and they watch the child and they try to understand what made them choose the activity. And they really observe, why does the child avoid doing activities on their abdomen? Why? And I cannot say enough about finding a good occupational therapist, because their insights can help you figure out what your child is avoiding or struggling with. And as I learned from them, I picked up on so much of what my kids were avoiding or seeking. And I utilized dry brushing. There's so many different techniques that can be done to help your child feel like their brain is not going crazy, to not to feel like their body is out of sync with everything else. And by doing different sensory therapies, you can help your child feel calmer. And that is what really helped move things along when I found the right activities to do at home. Before, like for example, for one child, it was when they put on a pair of pants, I had them, they needed to have pressure. So they would like roll on the floor, and that helped the pressure of the pants not feel so like alarming, because they were rolling back and forth, and that helped their brain to be like, well, there's a whole bunch of different stuff going on here and this is kind of fun, and wait, these pants really aren't that bad. Or I had them get on my back and I gave them a piggyback ride, and they were so excited about the piggyback ride, and there was pressure, they were squeezing me, and it helped them get over the loop of wearing these pants and this shirt that was uncomfortable. And sometimes that was it, just getting over that loop. And once they got past it, usually it's about like a 3-minute piggyback ride, they were good. But I also did other things beforehand, which was we discussed about what they're going to be wearing. We laid it out. I did dry brushing. We did different activities, sometimes a weighted blanket beforehand, and it helped them get to the point of getting their clothes on. And now it's completely different. And it's because their mind and their body are telling them something is wrong. And this is probably one that I should have mentioned this before. This tidbit is so important. When you are trying to understand your child, imagine the most annoying sound possible. Maybe for you, it's the fingernails on the chalkboard. Maybe it is the sound of really loud people like revving their engine really loud when you're driving underneath a tunnel. I mean, there's so many different things out there that could really just be that sound that bugs you. Whatever that sound is, it just drives you crazy. I want you to imagine that feeling and apply that to when your kids are trying on clothes and it feels like it's attacking them. That will give us empathy. So again, we want to be teaching them basic rules about clothes so we can help them get off of my clothes are attacking me, and then have them start thinking, oh, is my clothes clean? Is this the right clothes for the weather? Does it match? And does it fit me? And then being a student and really observing. And when your child begins seeing that you understand and you show empathy, they're like, Mom, I hate this shirt. It's like attacking me. And you show, I see it, bud. I see it. Hey, let's go find something else. And we'll work our way up. And also always saying, we're going to figure this out. That was probably the biggest thing that helps my kids. Like, hey, listen, we're going to figure this out. I'm in this with you. That helps your child because they realize the way they deal with the world with clothing is different than their friends already. Usually they get to the age of about 7 or 8, they begin seeing that and realizing it. And for them to know that you are with them in this is so powerful. And lastly, it's finding a good occupational therapist. And I would ask them questions regarding, like, if they don't have a gym, if they don't have a sensory play gym for this child to explore and use for therapies, that would be my stop. Like, nope, that's not a place to go to, because you need to see the child interacting, swinging. You need to see them crawling, being on a scooter. You need to see them doing all these different activities for an occupational therapist to see how is the child responding to their environment, what are they avoiding, what are they seeking, to understand them. Because the goal is they feel like their body just feels like it's not in the right place within the world around them. And it's an awful feeling for them. And when you find the right occupational therapist, I just can't say how what a great help it is, because They're going to see insights for your child and they'll explain it to you, and then you will see it. And once you begin seeing it, all of a sudden you begin making connections at home. And that's why I'm a big believer in being in appointments and therapies with our children, because we can make connections quicker when we see what the other person is doing and we're able to replicate it at home. I hope this gave you some encouragement and some ideas. I know it's hard, especially when you come to the colder part of the year and there's layers you have to wear. But by having a progression, the goal of slowly trying on different clothes, and jeans might not work this year, but 2 years from now, jeans could possibly definitely work. I've been surprised myself as I've watched my kids grow and realizing that as they are able to understand the world and their body becomes more adjusted, there's more clothes that they can wear and it's not an issue. And there may be for some kids, there may be some clothes they never wear, and that is okay. As long as they stick to those 4 rules, they can know like they're going to be okay, because that's always the biggest concern. Like, well, Mom, what if I'm wearing the wrong thing? But by using those 4 rules, is it clean, right clothes for the weather, does it match, and does it fit? That will help them out and give you peace, because eventually they'll be able to dress themselves successfully.
Hey, thank you for joining me today. I pray this episode gave you encouragement to take one small step. If so, please leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts to help other women find this show. By the way, if you're loving this conversation and want more encouragement like this, join my email list at bit.ly/myselfcare. That is bit.ly/myselfcare. I have a planner launching soon that will help you put all this into action in your own life. I look forward to chatting with you again next week for another episode.